So we got married in 71. We continued with school at the University
No,
of Washington.
72 we got married.
71.
71, yeah, you're right, 71.
And then,
How old am I now? Where am I?
and then, hi, my name is Felicita Franco Aragon, and this is my husband,
Francisco, Frank Urigan.
Frank Aragon. We met at the University of Washington when we were students.
Yeah, 1971.
Yeah, I was a recruiter for the Asian division at the University of Washington's minority, no, not
It
minority.
was Office of Minority Affairs back then.
So he came in and applied for
UW,
school. Yeah.
admissions. Swept her off her feet, and I just couldn't.
So we met formally on February 13th.
Boy, I don't even remember.
It's the day
Wow.
before Valentine's Day, and he needed help with his math. So I said, okay, I'll help you with it. So
Yeah.
before we know it,
We fell in love.
and then we got married less than 2 months
Yeah.
after we met each other.
Well, we met too through the Asian Student Coalition
That's
because of our involvement.
That's
There was, yeah, that's how I got to notice your involvement. So, we were involved with the Asian Student Coalition back in '71. That's how we met. But and then it slowly evolved from there. Or fated to be. 44 years later, we're still fated to be.
When I was in first year graduate school, we had our first son, but we continued through school anyway. I mean, went on time to finish my BA and then my
MSW.
MSW.
Then I finished my BA and then my MSW.
Many, many years later.
Well, those are choices that I had to make, either be, I shouldn't use the word typical student, but back then, we were so involved with the movement, demonstrations here, demonstrations there, founding the Asian Family Affair back in '72, and then running for a student office and doing all sorts of stuff that, one quarter you find out you had to drop 2 or 3 classes and only had 1, and then finally, so many of us didn't graduate on time, but we had some students that did graduate on time and went on to med school, but others of us like me, we took our time just graduating until finally got our degree. But those are the choices you make when you become, that active on campus, but also off campus. And that was the beauty of the thing. The university was a very nurturing environment for people like me who wanted to be involved, because it gave us the group of people that we had similar interests in when it comes to doing things in the community. So with people like Al Sugiyama, Dick Sugiyama, Annie, Mari, all those folks that I met, YK Kuniyuki, we all shared that passion for community involvement. And so, we all made choices to be that much involved, and some of us deferred getting our degrees because we didn't go to class like we were supposed to every day.
However, I didn't defer my degree.
No, and I'm
I
proud
went
that
to
you were able to
school.
do that, yeah.
I think the important thing too that I'd like to impart is that while we were going through school and having family, we did have kids, and we were still able to get involved with the community. I was involved with the development of the establishment of the Asian Counseling and Referral Service.
Yeah, it's your mental health. It started by social work students at the University of Washington. I envied my wife because she was a part of that group. Chiz Norton, who was a professor of social work, was the one who, with the idea from Apollonio Boyagawan, who's Filipino.
Lonnie came from California, and he was involved in California and saw that they established a mental health. And so he said, why can't we have one? He's a social worker. So he approached several professors at the university, like Tony Shisaka,
Chiz Norton.
Chiz Norton. So then that group involved other professionals in the community, the psychiatrists.
And part of the reason why ACRS was founded was because during the Boeing recession, there were Asians who were committing suicide or were into depression because they lost their job. And so she was very much involved with providing counseling services at Blaine Methodist. And then later on, after it got funding, went into Chinatown International District. Then she was also involved with the International District Drop-In Center. But then going back to the Asian Student Coalition, the Kingdom demonstration that we had, I initiated that demonstration and co-led it with Al Sugiyama and Dick Sugiyama, Mari, Pete, Nemesio. Anyway, we were able to use the protest at the groundbreaking ceremonies to get some demands met. One of them was the creation of the International District Health Center, which is now the International Community Health Services. I believe I was its fourth executive director. When I left it, it had a budget of $250,000. Now under Teresita Batiola, it has a budget of over $25 million. So you can see from the community health center that was grassroots to what it is now, which is still grassroots, but serving a more wider community. It's grown to serve people in Bellevue, Shoreline. But those are the kinds of stuff that we as Filipinos, in solidarity with other Asian groups, were able to create. A lot of the stuff could not have been created without the help of our friends, our brothers and sisters in the Japanese American, Chinese American. And at that time we had one Korean, so he was a Korean American community for us. But yeah, without those kinds of alliances, we wouldn't have gotten to where we were and where we're at now in Chinatown International District. So we were able to do a lot of stuff together.
Yeah, but we also need to recognize the founders of the Filipino community in Seattle, the ones who
See, that's a sacrifice.
the Ruiz, they're the ones
They
who,
did the newspaper, a Filipino, American
yeah.
Herald or something like that. Filipinos have a long history of involvement here. Either within the Filipino American community or outside. I shouldn't say outside, but with other community groups, Asian community groups.
Just like you guys are doing right now.
So when we were at Asian Student Coalition, we were able to create a financial aids officer position because we found out that they had no Asian financial aids officer. So we met with the personnel department at the University of Washington and demanded that we have a financial aids advisor. Yeah, he was a Chicano brother. I was working on campus at that time though. And what he did was he told Mencha what we did, we marched on him. So Mencha marched on me. And, but I was blessed with a quick mind. When they asked me, how could you march on the Chicano brother, Frank? Because they knew me. And I said, well, I didn't march on the Chicano brother. I marched on an administrator who refused to acknowledge that we needed an Asian in the financial aids office. So they mulled it over and I said, okay. But they told him, you should have just listened to him. But the deal was, the outcome was, Frank, next time you have a problem with a Hispanic, a Chicano administrator, you let us know first and then we'll deal with him or her. I said, that's fine. And it's the same thing with the Department of Personnel. They didn't have at the University of Washington an Asian recruiter. So that was one of the things we approached the University of Washington Personnel Department. So, we said, you got a Chicano recruiter, you got a Black recruiter, but you don't have any Asian recruiter.
But you guys are aware of how EOP came about, or Office of Minority Affairs came about, is that there were students at the University of Washington at that time, and they were Tony Ogilvy, who's Filipino, and then Larry Matsuda,
Dr. Joe Okamoto.
Dr. Joe.
But they approached the university administration and said, you guys don't have an Asian division, you guys need to have one. And so they did acquiesce, they caved into that demand, and we got the Asian division. And the first Asian division director was Mike Castellano. And then Felicita was a recruiter before then, and then and that's how the Asian division was created. Now they don't have divisions anymore. It's just one office. And that was my concern back then, that sooner or later they're going to put us all together with student services. And I think they're still planning to do that, but it's just a matter of time before they no longer have an Office of Minority Affairs. You know, because as far as they're concerned, students that need to go there are now Southeast Asians. We had to force the administration to hire a Southeast Asian recruiter.
This is
2 or 3 years
yeah,
ago.
2 or 3 years ago, so it wasn't
Yeah, we
in
met
our
at,
time.
no, we met at Asian Counseling Referral Service with the with Anna Mari. She wasn't president then. We met with that other guy, Young, I think that's his name, who left, and then Anna Mari became the president, and then we met with Sheila Lang. It was a good meeting, but we got them to cave in too, and we were able to get the Southeast Asian recruiter. But again, that shows where students on campus and the community outside could work together to get something done. So that's how we were able to get that position reinstated. Back then, Asian Family Affair was founded. That was the first Pan-Asian newspaper after Kapisana, you know, the brotherhood that was founded by Inicio Domingo. I think published 3 times. Then Al Sugiyama, Diane Wong, Norman Marr, and myself founded the Asian Family Affair. We wanted a name that wasn't too controversial. We wanted a name that the community could wrap its arms around, and Asian Family Affair was a name that someone came up with. And it came from a music by Sly and the Family Stone. Have you heard of that group? Anyway, they had a song called It's a Family Affair. So you go, oh, Asian Family Affair. So that's why we called it Asian Family Affair. And then going back with FOSA, that's when they were protesting the man with the plan, and that was Vice President Herman Lujan. They wanted to change the admissions policy at the University of Washington. And so Jimmy Cacabelos, Jimmy Nonog, Monte Murray, Rick Farinas, Peter Murata, they all decided that it wasn't going to happen on campus, so we had a big meeting at the Filipino community of Seattle where the University of Washington was there, presenting their plan, and we just told them to get. And then the students decided they were going to protest against it. And so they had Larry Gosser, Roberto Maestas, myself, and Diana Choa to negotiate with Herm Lujan, the Vice President of Minority Affairs. Gerberding was the president at that time, so we were going back and forth with him, and finally the president caved in and told Herm Lujan, give the students what they want. So we went out there to tell the students they won. And the majority of students at that time, at that demonstration, were Filipino American students, FOSA members. And they said, no, we don't want it. You know, we decided to get arrested. I go, what? Yeah, we want to get arrested. You know, we want to send a message to the administration. So we're not going to take it, we're not going to accept they're giving it to us. And so we said, oh well. So I went around shaking everybody's hand, you know, Filipino students. Peter Bacha was there as our legal advisor, and he was going to get arrested with them. So then the 4 of us, the negotiating team, got on the elevator. You know, there's just something about us Filipinos, you know, faith, you know. The officer in charge that night was a Filipino brother. You know, he was a lieutenant back then, Roger Serra. And so when I walked by him, he says, Frank, what are you doing here? I said, I got arrested with these guys. I said, can I make a couple of phone calls? He said, yeah, go ahead and call. So I called Gary Yomoto because I was supposed to be at a party. And I said, I can't make it to the party this evening, Gary, because I'm getting arrested. And I heard him turn away from the phone and go, Frank's getting arrested tonight. Then I said, yeah, so I got to go. And then I called my wife, Felicita, and she was what? You were 8 months pregnant already? No, 7 months?
I don't know.
Yeah, so she was shocked. Went around trying to get monies to bail me out. Because they don't take credit card or checks. You got to be bailed out by cash. By the time she got enough cash from her mother, it was too late to bail us out. Besides, what she didn't know was we all took a vow none of us would be bailed out unless we all go out together, which we finally did the next day. But yeah, Is there anything else? What else was there?
No, I just, think that the students do need to focus and get their education, but at the same time, don't forget where you came from. And
Yeah, be involved with the community.
your community, and any involvement that you can at any level, I'm sure is appreciated.
Everything that the Asian community got here in Seattle wasn't given to us. We had to fight for it. Employment Opportunity Center, we had to fight for. Asian Consular Referral Service, we had to fight for. International District Community Health Center, we had to fight for. Everything. It was never given to us. We had to fight for it and then finally get funding for it, from the powers that be. But, without community involvement, without students being involved with it, it wouldn't have happened. So.